You're listening to the SuitesFlow Podcast.
Ciao and welcome from Mario and Alessia to a new episode of the SuitesFlow Podcast.
For decades, the industry sold dreams. Now buyers are demanding the factual truth, especially with perfect digital information becoming, the norm.
That really is a massive shift, isn't it? So today, inspired by the ideas explored in the SuitesFlow essays, we're gonna really get into this unmasking of pre-construction real estate.
Yeah, we'll look at how that traditional approach, what the essays call the lie of the sales center, is basically falling apart.
And why technology, specifically scalable technology, is stepping in as, the only credible standard now for value and for trust.
Exactly. But, to really grasp the solution, we first need to understand the problem properly. This old way, let's call it real estate brand 1.0.
Okay.
Its whole purpose wasn't really selling property. It was selling, an experience.
Yeah.
A perfume, as the essays put it.
A very expensive perfume, yeah. When you walk into that typical sales center, it's not really set up for like a rational chat, is it?
Not at all.
It's this carefully built stage. The essays call it a temple of pre-construction hype.
Mm-hmm. Every little detail. It's designed to sort of sidestep your logical brain and hit that emotional aspirational button.
Get you dreaming.
Right. The whole place feels luxurious, sure, but it's deliberately inaccurate for your specific unit. They want you emotionally invested before you ask the hard questions.
And the model unit itself, that's a classic example, isn't it? It's almost never the one you can actually afford.
Exactly. It's often, 20% bigger? And kitted out with maybe 50 grand worth of upgrades you probably won't get.
It's the perfect bait and switch, really. You're standing there, feeling successful, breathing in the expensive air.
Yeah, the sandalwood ambition air.
Right. But the actual thing you end up signing for, that depends on really boring but crucial details, like which way the windows face, what floor you're on.
And that brings us straight to the core inefficiency. The thing brand 1.0 just couldn't solve this problem of imagination.
What do you mean by that?
Well, developers could only ever afford to create a few really high-quality digital models or mock-ups. These hero units.
Oh, okay. Like those 3 absolutely perfect, shiny apples right at the front of the fruit display in the supermarket. Flawless.
Precisely. But a big tower might have hundreds of units. What about all the others? The CDF layouts?
Yeah, what happens with those?
For most of them, the buyer just gets handed a 2D floor plan and is basically told, here you go, figure it out.
Which requires a huge leap of faith, a massive amount of what the essays call uncompensated imagination.
Exactly. Asking you to accurately picture, say, the light in a corner unit facing northeast on the 14th floor at 4 p.m. in February. It's asking too much.
It's almost impossible for the average person. So the model is kind of set up to fail the buyer most of the time.
99% of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Because bridging that visualization gap accurately, it's incredibly difficult.
And this failure, it has a real human cost, right? This Javier problem you mentioned.
Yeah, let's talk about Javier. So Javier's maybe buying from overseas. He wires his life savings practically for an idea, for a safety net maybe. An apartment number he's never seen, can't physically check.
He's buying blind,
Yeah.
trusting the sales pitch, the fancy brochure.
Trusting the vibe, the broker's charm,
Yeah.
the $50,000 chandelier smile, as the essays describe it.
Right.
Then maybe 2 years later, he gets the keys. And the disappointment. It's not just financial. It feels like a betrayal.
Yeah, a betrayal of hope.
He was promised, a gym view, let's say. But what he gets is a stunning vista of the building's HVAC systems.
Ouch.
And that disconnect, that gap between the promise and the reality, that's just the natural result of brand 1.0. It's baked into the system.
But hang on, if the industry knew this created unhappy buyers, why did this lie of scale, as you call it, stick around for so long? Why not just make better visuals for everyone?
That leads us right into the current market status. It was basically impossible to scale the traditional way of making these visuals.
Also,
think about a 500-unit building.
Yeah.
Manually creating 500 unique, really detailed, data-accurate virtual tours. The old way.
Yeah.
It's incredibly slow. And the cost of making just one perfect digital scene, like a kitchen render, it was astronomical. A total bottleneck, like a craft studio trying to mass produce.
Okay, I see. So they couldn't do it for all 500.
No way.
Yeah.
So the industry kind of compromised. They made those 3 amazing hero
The
units,
shiny apples.
right? And then relied on a mix of things, scarcity pressure, the buyer getting tired, the broker being persuasive to sell the other 497 units.
Hoping the buyer wouldn't scrutinize too closely.
Pretty much. And this whole setup served a very specific group. And it wasn't really the end user, not Javier.
Oh, who was it for then?
The sales center, the fancy marketing. It was mostly a stage set.
A stage set for who?
For the big players. The institutional investors, the banks funding the project. They needed that glossy, aspirational picture for their risk assessments, for their models. The marketing wasn't primarily for the person who'd eventually live there. It was to make the financiers comfortable.
So the actual resident was kind of secondary until it was time to sign the contract?
Often, yeah. It sounds cynical, but that's how it often worked.
Okay, that explains a lot about why the system was the way it was. It wasn't really broken from that perspective.
Yeah.
It was doing what it was designed to do, satisfy the money people.
Exactly, at the expense of truth for the buyer.
So how do we get from that system built for institutional comfort to one that's actually built on trust for the individual buyer?
Well, that's the whole idea behind Real Estate Brand 2.0, the shift towards, the inevitability of truth. And that's where SuitesFlow comes in.
Right.
The focus moves completely away from manufactured charm, filtered photos, all that stuff. It moves toward pure, verifiable facts, delivered right to you, the user, on your own phone or computer.
The goal becomes the reality check, not the emotional rush.
Precisely. If the facts line up, if the unit genuinely fits your needs based on real data, you don't need the scented candles and mood lighting.
But let me push back a bit, that scaling problem you mentioned. The cost of creating visuals for hundreds of units, that hasn't just vanished, has it? How does Brand 2.0 overcome that?
That's the absolute key difference. Technology that enables scale. SuitesFlow is, right now, the only company anywhere that can deliver these unit-specific virtual tours at an industrial scale.
So not just the 3 hero unit.
No, we're talking genuine, high-fidelity, interactive experiences for every single unit in a development, whether it's built yet, unbuilt, or even if someone's living there right now. The guesswork is gone.
Okay, that fundamentally changes things. It removes the excuses that propped up the old hero unit strategy. If every unit gets the same level of digital accuracy, what does that do to the whole buyer journey?
It flips it completely upside down.
Yeah.
In Brand 1.0, you start at the sales center trying to piece together a dream from fragments. In Brand 2.0, you start at home on your device. You find the unit that fits based on facts, on data. You're essentially sold, because you've confirmed it works for you before you even think about visiting.
So when you do eventually walk into a physical sales center, if you even need to, it's not the beginning anymore. You're not there to be wooed or convinced.
Exactly. You're likely there to finalize things, maybe sign the papers. You've already walked through the unit digitally. You know what the light's like on a Tuesday in December. You've seen the view, each VAC units and all, and decided if it matters to you.
That's a completely different kind of buyer showing up. Informed, high intent.
Totally. And the transparency has to go beyond just the 4 walls of the apartment, right? Because life happens outside. The old parfum model always fudged the proximity details.
Steps to vibrant nightlife, which meant a 20-minute walk uphill.
Exactly. So Brand 2.0 needs tools that anchor the unit in its actual surroundings, like the context map, the interactive point of interest map.
And this isn't just vague stuff like close to shops.
No, we're talking real details. Verifiable stuff.
Yeah.
How many minutes walking to get a good coffee? Crucially, how far is the nearest decent pizza place?
Oh, okay, the important things.
These are the small, real-life facts that truly confirm if a place fits your lifestyle.
And what about those super specific questions? The ones a Brand 1.0 could never answer without sending someone out. Like, what time exactly does the sun hit the balcony in summer?
Because the whole system is built on verified data, it can answer those. That specific question about the sun on the balcony.
Yeah.
The answer is pulled directly from the geospatial data linked to that specific unit on that specific floor for that specific time of year. It's precise. In a market used to vague promises, that level of granular truth is a huge advantage.
Okay, so let's get into the engine room a bit. This kind of scale, this fidelity for hundreds of units. It sounds almost like magic if you're used to the old way. How does SuitesFlow actually generate 500 perfect, data-true digital realities without needing 500 artists?
Right, this is the core technology. What the essays refer to as Trust Made Visible, it's all powered by SuitesFlow's proprietary engine, VIM, the volumetric information multiplier.
VIM. Okay, the printing press metaphor helps, but what's the actual process? How does it multiply information like that?
Think of traditional 3D modeling. Like we said, as a craft studio, very manual, very bespoke.
Yeah.
VIM is different. It's an intelligent system. It ingests the fundamental architectural DNA of the entire building, but only once.
What does that include?
Things like the 2D floor plans, the detailed CAD files, the list of specified materials and finishes, the core engineering and design data.
So it's not modeling individual chairs or countertops over and over. It's modeling the rules for the whole building.
Exactly that. It understands the rules, the components, the relationships. Then it takes that core DNA and multiplies it algorithmically. It applies the correct rules across thousands of unique combinations, different layouts, different views, different finished packages, different floors.
Automatically ensuring every unit, from the penthouse down to a small studio, matches the actual architectural truth.
Precisely. And because it uses real-world coordinates and verified architectural data, it doesn't matter if the building is just a plan, a hole in the ground, or fully built and occupied. It doesn't need physical access to show the truth.
So the output, what do you call the final result for each unit?
That's what we call the volumetric record. It exists for every single apartment. Think of it as the authoritative digital twin.
Okay.
It automatically applies the correct finishes, calculates the genuine exterior view based on its precise location using geospatial data, analyzes the light. It guarantees you're seeing the right layout, the right specs, and the right view from every single room.
Wow. So the conversation shifts completely from, does this picture look nice?
Yeah.
To, is this digital representation accurate and true?
Yes. The integrity of the Vim engine means the digital version is anchored firmly in reality. So there shouldn't be that painful disconnect when the buyer finally gets the keys.
The gift here isn't just a fancier sales tool then, it's certainty.
It's the gift of knowing. It removes that huge cloud of uncertainty that hangs over potentially the biggest purchase someone will ever make. The pressure selling tactics kind of dissolve, don't they? They get replaced by the pull of something you know is right for you because you've seen the facts.
You know, SuitesFlow didn't kill the dream of buying a home. It sounds like it actually made the dream warmer, more real.
By making it fundamentally real, yeah. In a world just drowning in hype, especially pre-construction hype, being able to see the full, unvarnished truth for every single option at scale. That's the ultimate gift. That's real value.
Because when the fit is confirmed by truth, by the actual facts, the yes just comes naturally, doesn't it?
It does. When something feels true, genuinely true, you don't question it endlessly. You don't let go. You buy it.
See you in the next episode.
You're listening to the SuitesFlow Podcast.